Hi friends, a very warm welcome to our channel. I'm Chanda Mama and this is your Chanda Mama bringing you a new story published from the Chanda Mama magazine. The title of the story is Sindbad the Sailor. So let's go towards the story. While we are undergoing hardships, we wonder how we can endure them and when they will come to an end. But once we pass them and fall upon happy times, we find pleasure in looking back upon them and wonder why we were worried so much about them. Despite the 3 voyages of extreme hardships and the fact that I was leading a very happy and luxurious life, I began to feel that it was better that I should be abroad, gaining experience rather than sitting at home and idling away my time in pleasures. Also, I was taken up with the desire to trade and make money. Soon, this urge was so strong in me that I could not spend another day at home. The wandering urge was upon me once again. Destiny seemed to push me out of the house, leaving my home and properties. I journeyed to Basra with cargo, which cost me more than what I had ever paid in the past. There, I embarked on a big ship, which several other merchants of Basra were also sailing. This ship was very fast going vessel. It went from one country to another country and from one another island to the another island in no time. Wherever we touched shore, we had brisk trade and handsome profit. But one day, the captain of the ship dropped the anchor in mid-ocean and cried, "This is the end." Even as he uttered these words, a fierce gale began to blow over the waters, causing breakers to rise sky high and hit the ship with the strength of 1,000 elephants. In a matter of few moments, the ship was torn into splinters and the waters swallowed up our precious cargo. What was worse, most of the merchants were swallowed up by the ocean, along with their property. Fortunately, I and other few merchants caught hold of some floating planks. The mighty waves tossed up about for several hours, and then the wind hurled us to an unknown shore. By then, we were more dead than alive, so we lay for the night in the sand where we landed and went to sleep. Next morning, we felt somewhat better, so we made for the interior. After marching for some time, we saw a large building in front of us. While we were gaping at it, several dark persons rushed out of it and came towards us. I saw that they were wearing skins instead of clothes. Without uttering a word, they herded us inside the building. There I saw a big hall with a high seat on which sat the king. He motioned us to sit. In the twinkling of an eye, the dark people set before us plates filled with strange meats and curries. I could not bring myself even to touch them, but my comrades, who were quite hungry, pounced upon the food and began to gobble it greedily. It was very fortunate for me that I did not eat that food, as later events showed. The more my friends ate the food, the more hungry they appeared to become. For hours they went on consuming whatever was served in their plates, and the effect the food had upon them was quite uncanny. I saw my friends swell with the food inch by inch. Their stomachs were growing up, and so did their appetites. I was shocked to see no sign of their hunger being satisfied. While my friends ate, the dark men went on smearing their bodies with some sort of ointment. Evidently, this ointment helped their appetites to remain unsatiated, and it had another effect on them. They began to resemble animals in their manner of eating. It was beastly sight. Naturally, I could not touch the food before me. Having observed the effect it was having on my friends, the dark men tried to anoint me too, but I resisted. I could easily see that these people were cannibals and that they were feeding my friends only to fatten them before killing them. I learned that the king required one roasted man a day, while the others ate raw men. Having understood these things, I began to fear for myself and my comrades, who were no longer normal human beings. They appeared to have lost their intelligence to the same extent that their stomachs were swollen. Soon they were no better than the cattle which were to be slaughtered, and the dark people drove them to the meadows where they could graze. I became lean and dry with fear and hunger. The skin stretched tight over my bones. Those dark people lost interest in me. They clean forgot me, so I easily managed to slip out of the building and began to walk across the island. On the way, I came upon my friends who were being driven like cattle by the dark people. Hiding behind trees, I managed to keep out of their sight. I walked throughout the night. In my anxiety to escape from the cannibals, I did not think of sleep at all. I must have walked 6 days and 6 nights without pause before I reached a place where normal beings were lived. This place was a city on the opposite side of the island. The people surrounded me speaking my language. It was a long time since I had heard my language, and I told them what I had passed through. They congratulated me for my having come out alive from such ghastly experience and gave me food and drink. After an hour's rest, I was ready to go with them to their king. These good people paddled me across to another isle where the king was living. This island was the capital of a very thickly populated city. I saw all sorts of commodities in the shops. The streets were clean and wide. I saw several persons passing along the streets riding horses without saddles. So, in my first interview with the king, I asked him, "Master, how is that people in your land ride horses without saddles? It is not much more comfortable to ride with the saddle." "What are saddles?" the king asked me, puzzled. "In that case," I said to him, "permit me to prepare a saddle for you in a couple of days. You can see for yourself how comfortable and convenient it is to ride in." The king agreed. I engaged a couple of carpenters and instructed him to prepare a saddle of wood. I covered with a soft padding and decorated it with gold embroidery and colored tassels. Then I went to a blacksmith and got a bit of pair of spurs, prepared according to my instructions. I would not let him leave out the minutest of my instructions. Having got all necessary things ready, I proceeded to the king's stable and selected the best horse. I arranged the saddle on its back and the bit in its mouth. I decorated the horse's neck with a collar and with blue tufts. Then I took it before the king. The king got into the saddle and rode the horse. He realized the comfort of the saddle and the bridle, praised my skill, and gave me good deal of money and many gifts. Then the minister approached me with the request that I should provide his own horse too, with a saddle and bridle. I did so. Soon all the important people in the city were buying saddles from me for their horses and paying me good money. In a very short time, I became one of the richest men in the land. The king was very friendly towards me. "Look, Sindbad," he said to me one day, "you are my closest friend and I cannot look upon you as a stranger even if I try. So I want to do me a favor." "Master," I replied, "you have only one order to me." "Well then," he said, "I want you to marry a very handsome lady of noble birth, great wealth and accomplishments. I know that you will not leave me if you marry her and settle down here. Do not deny me this, Sindbad." I did not know what to say to him. My mind was in confusion. I bowed my head in order to avoid looking at him. "Why are you so silent?" he asked me. "Master," I replied, "I am your slave. Do what you please with me." At once he sent for the bride and the Kadi and the witnesses and got me married without delay. My wife was not only a graceful woman, but she was also quite wealthy, having many houses, lands, and their possessions. The king gave us a palace to live and provided us innumerable slaves. So this was the part of the story which was published in Chandamama magazine in the year 1957. So I'll come back with the new episode of this video and the partial story which is continued in the next magazine with you guys and share with you guys the story. Till then, stay safe and take care. If you have not liked the channel or subscribed the video, please like, share, comment and subscribe to our channel for more updates like this. Thank you.